Food moves in this country in more ways than one. It leaves for international markets, it comes in from abroad, and some of it stays right here for Canadians. In this episode of Canada's Food System, Our Food, Our Future, a look at the export market, its importance to Canadian farmers and the economy. Also, a conversation with an egg farmer about supply management and its role in maintaining food security in Canada. And a new farming operation, challenging the status quo to food imports we rely on daily.
Okay, so do you want us to go with you?
Yeah, you can hop in if you don't mind a dirty truck.
Oh gosh, no, that's okay.
Okay.
It's planting season, and 2 hours east of Edmonton, in Two Hills, Alberta, Jeanette Andruszewski's family is off to plant canola.
So the land that we have, it's very personal. You keep it and you're proud of it, and you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it every year and hope that you get something profitable and something you're proud of.
In a truck ride over to the field where her husband and son are planting, you can feel Jeanette's excitement for a new season and for what's possible with every seed planted.
Every spring when that air drill starts, I think, here we go. We're doing something not only for our family and our farm, but who's this going to feed? Like, how far is this crop going to go? Like, where are these canola seeds going to go? Who's going to be enjoying this if we can get it to harvest? Who's going to be, adding it into their next family meal? Yeah, I do think about that. And I think, oh, that's kind of cool that we get to be at someone's table that's in another country or another part of the globe.
18 years ago, Jeanette and her husband Dwayne took over operations of the family farm from his retiring parents. The farm was smaller back then, and technology had not yet made its way into their everyday operations.
Am I good, or do I have to return?
I think you're a little bit too far. Maybe try to turn it a little bit tighter.
Times have changed. Innovations in farming allow Dwayne, Jeanette, and their son Brent to farm more efficiently and sustainably.
We've bought into air drills that have GPS and mapping, and we have sprayers that now, use specific nozzles that direct the pesticide directly onto the plant. We are using bin sensors to check the temperature of our grain, and it dings on our phone if the temperature changes within the bin. So technology has evolved so exponentially here. And I can't imagine what that's going to be like for our son in the next 10 years when maybe we're ready to retire.
The technology has also allowed them to scale up their canola farm.
Well, for us on our farm, it's very important. It's a cash crop. That means that we are able to sell it and immediately get paid for it, which in turn helps pay those bills through the spring and through the harvest season. It keeps our farm afloat.
There are 40,000 Canadian farmers who grow canola. Its roots date back to the 1970s, when scientists developed a new strain of rapeseed to make it suitable for human consumption. By the 80s, canola began to gain popularity as a profitable crop, thanks to its versatility. It's not only a kitchen staple, it's also used in beauty supplies like shampoo, lotions, soaps, and balms. When it's harvested, it consists of 45% oil, and the rest is considered meal.
I want Canadians to embrace their food with trust and seek the science that's behind seek the science that we use on our farms to grow the foods and support the plants, and trust that we are doing our best every day. And we as farmers trust science. We need science on our farms. This is how our farms are going to stay current. This is how our farms are going to stay progressive. And to secure food supply for Canadians.
The Canadian canola industry meets high international standards because modern farming techniques produce a high-quality product, making Canadian canola a sought-after product in global markets. Canola is a trade powerhouse. According to the Canadian Canola Growers Association, 90% of production was exported in 2024, totaling $14.5 billion. Trade is vital to canola's success, making it critical to keep existing markets open while diversifying and growing new ones. The United States is Canada's leading market for canola. China, Japan, Mexico, and the EU are also canola customers. By exporting canola, Canada not only strengthens its economy, but also supports global food supply.
So 90% of it is exported. We only consume 10% of the canola that's grown in Canada. So we're very reliant on export.
Which is why rumblings of trade uncertainty in early 2025 put many Canadian farmers on edge.
Well, first of all, it was panic. Should we sell the canola that's in our bins right now and get rid of it because we may not have the opportunity to sell it within a year or later on in the summer? Who's going to want our product? Is there going to be a demand for it? And then it was confusion set in because should we plant canola? Maybe we should, take some canola out of our rotation and plant other crops.
So what was the decision you ultimately made?
Well, we had our purchases made, so we stuck to the plan.
Farming demands unwavering dedication, especially when challenges arise outside of farmers' control. But Jeanette says pressures and demands fade away with the sight of canola fields.
Like in the month of July, there is no better place I'd rather be than here on our farm. Just to see the beauty of those yellow fields surrounding us and the smell that comes off those fields, it smells like honey. I want Canadians to know that their food is safe, it's nutritious, it's affordable compared to other countries, it's grown with great pride. There's a family behind every bottle of canola oil that's sitting in your pantry. There's a story in that bottle of a farmer who produced that.
How do you take your eggs? Over easy? Scrambled? Canadians love eggs. In fact, according to the Egg Farmers of Canada, the average Canadian consumed 255 eggs last year.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Nanny. I'm a 7th generation egg farmer from Perth, Ontario.
Chances are, if you're in the Ottawa region, the eggs you eat may be from Stephanie Nanny's farm.
Your egg farmers are your neighbors. They're right in your community and they're producing that fresh, quality egg that you know is coming from a farm that's not too far away.
The eggs Canadians consume are quite literally from a farm nearby. Eggs are a food produced in Canada for Canadians, with 1,200 egg farmers in every province and the Northwest Territories. The average farm size is 22,500 hens, and on average, they each lay 1 egg a day.
So this is the egg packing room.
It's mid-morning at Stephanie's farm, and her 23,000 hens are laying eggs.
So what you see in the egg gathering room is the eggs are coming on the conveyor belt from the barn, and they're going on to the packer where they are separated into 6 rows so they can be put onto the trays. And they're put point down. The way that the packer works allows gravity to make it work that the point goes down so that they're stored properly. And then they go into the trays. We stack them into cases, and then we put them on a skid. And when the skid is full, we move it into the cooler.
Innovations in egg farming have transformed operations, making technology an integral part of the barn. Software systems store data, while sensors, alarms, and generators seamlessly keep operations running smoothly.
When I was a kid, we would gather by hand. So even when we got a packer when I was a teenager, that was like, whoa, one person can gather all by themselves in like a very short amount of time. My very quick gathering skills are now irrelevant, but
robotic systems for egg collection, feeding, and flock monitoring, along with biosecurity measures, are all part of modern agricultural technologies today. Another significant advancement is the housing systems for the hens. Farmers use different housing systems to produce a variety of eggs.
The technology has increased the care so much. There's been a lot of research into the various housing systems of hens, and so depending on what works for the farmer, what the consumer's preference is, in Canada we have all of that choice, right? You can choose what type of egg you want, whether it's an enriched, free run, free range, organic. omega-3. You have so many options, all produced locally. And so having that technology of those different systems is fantastic.
In every type of housing, the hens have continued access to food, water, controlled lighting, and sophisticated air filtration systems. Stephanie's hens live in an enriched colony housing system.
So in the enriched system, they're in smaller groups, so they're easier to manage. You have less issue with, for example, the pecking order. Their kind of hierarchy of the hens is developed very quick because they're in a small group. They have perches, they have nesting boxes, they have scratch pads. That's kind of your typical enriched system. And then once you get into free run, that means that the hens are all on the floor, or in some cases they'll have different levels they can jump up on in what would be called an aviary free run. And in those ones, the hens are in much larger group. You would have kind of more like thousands of hens together, and then you have the litter on the floor. And then in a free range barn, that means it's the same as a free run inside the barn, but they also have access to outside. And that's the same. Organic eggs would be the same as free range, but they have the specific feeds to make sure it's organic food that they are eating.
No matter the housing system, Stephanie says the industry provides a high level of transparency so consumers can feel informed about the food they purchase and consume. Eggs are a staple food in Canada, and egg farmers are part of Canada's supply management system, which governs Canada's dairy, poultry, and egg production. This system ensures that egg production matches consumer demand. It is designed to enhance food security while providing a reliable supply of eggs for Canadians and reducing reliance on imports. By creating a sustainable market, it benefits both farmers and consumers alike.
So supply management just means that we match the supply to what the demand is in Canada. So it means that we know what Canadians want, how much we need, and that's how much we aim to produce as egg farmers. And it means that as a young farmer coming into an egg farm, you know where your eggs are going to be sold, you know you're going to get a fair price, and so you know it is a viable career option. And it means too that Canadians are getting the highest quality product because of supply management. It means the farmers are working together as a whole. We are all trying to make a good product. We are all trying to sell our product into the Canadian market. And so we're working together to get these innovations in technology that I mentioned. And it also means that the standards are so high that you know if you're buying a Canadian egg because of supply management, those standards, you're getting the safest egg possible. It's a reliable source because we are matching that demand and supply.
This approach not only supports local farmers by providing them with a predictable income, but also ensures that consumers get high-quality eggs produced under strict animal care and food safety standards. It also means egg farmers can work together to provide a reliable supply of food.
Because we are getting a fair price for our product, we have the ability to invest in those technologies, to invest in that higher animal care, and to make sure that you have those good systems in place.
You are literally feeding your neighbors, your community in and around Ontario. How does that make you feel that you have a connection to feeding people around you?
So it's very much a sense of pride. Like any farmer, I could talk about farming all day long because I love it so much. But you get a sense of pride in what you're working at. You're not that there's less pride in other jobs, but just I find growing up in it, it's my family has built this business. For generations, my family has been working on this farm. I get to come to work, I can bring my kids to the barn, and I just have pride knowing that I'm producing a healthy product, an affordable product, something that someone can go to the grocery store and get.
After cooking up some eggs with a little canola oil, it's time to look at another element of our food system. There is a growing number of startups looking to reduce our reliance on importing foods, and lettuce is on the menu.
This is all lettuce that's ready to ship out, and that'll pretty much all ship out today.
Jay Wilmont is the founder and CEO of Haven Greens, a new state-of-the-art 5-acre automated lettuce greenhouse operation. Just outside the hustle and bustle of Toronto in the rolling hills of King City, the Wilmot family, well known for their horse racing, decided to pivot their business to horticulture. Jay had just finished a Bachelor of Commerce from Dalhousie University, and having lived his entire life on a farm, this curious entrepreneur took a professor's question seriously.
He said, write down 10 things that piss you off. And then figure out which one you can be the best in the world at, and like that's your business idea.
No way.
Go and solve that problem.
And so what was the top one then for you? What was the one?
I was really, really disappointed with old, slimy, smelly lettuce.
It was a personal frustration, one that many Canadians can relate to, especially if lettuce has had a long journey to get to the shelf. While over 90% of lettuce we consume in Canada is imported from California and Arizona, there's growing interest in local production that can extend the window of freshness and reduce travel time, especially in colder months when field-grown options are limited. Greenhouse and field lettuce grown right here in Canada are already part of the solution, and innovations like this aim to help fill the gaps and meet demand year-round.
You want to see Canada completely supplying its own lettuce for Canadians?
I would love to see that. I don't think that that's realistic anytime soon, but the more we can do, the better, in my view.
Yeah.
And like greenhouse technology, indoor farming, it's not gonna take away field farming. It just sits alongside it as something that supports, particularly in geographies that are far away from the places where you can really effectively field farm.
Inspired by sustainability and food security, Jay set out to produce leafy greens year-round. Lettuce that didn't have to travel thousands of kilometers to reach Canadians, and that could be fresher, tastier, and more affordable.
Okay, how can we use that intersection between advanced technology and infrastructure to grow food? To be able to achieve that affordable price and that quality and that consistency and that healthy product that we're talking about. How can we solve a real problem for Canadians? So it took a long time to build up the skills that were needed to actually be able to make this happen.
After years of trial and error and bringing together some of the leading minds in the horticulture industry, Haven Green successfully harvested its first crop in April 2025 and is now on store shelves in major Canadian grocery retailers.
The desire is not just to grow fresh, consistent food for Canadians, it's to achieve affordability as well.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of our business model here at Haven Greens. We want to make sure that people can not only feel good about what they're putting in their bodies, but they can trust that they're going to be able to buy the food that they need to feed their families.
The entire chain is fully automated from seed to packaging, with minimal human contact and zero exposure to outside contaminants.
This
So
is amazing.
you want to see some crops?
Yes.
All right. So here you can see the baby plants starting to grow.
In the greenhouse, the plants stretch as far as the eye can see. A progression of tiny plants barely pushing through the earth grow to full leafy greens within 25 days. And the taste? Just as Jay had intended, fresh and perfectly crisp.
That's good lettuce.
With controlled lights, water, temperature, and nutrients, 8,000 pounds of lettuce is harvested daily when the greenhouse is at 75% capacity.
We grow without the use of any chemical pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides here.
The innovation and technology behind this approach to cultivate lettuce is by design and a scalable solution for Canada's fresh produce industry, perhaps even a vision into the future of farming.
Farming's all about connection with the land. And where we've built this facility on top of the land, it's still a farm. And at the end of the day, it's coming to the place that the food is grown and seeing it happen and understanding, okay, this is it. I get it now. That's integrity in the food system, in my view.
On the next episode of Canada's Food System, Our Food, Our Future.
I always like to say I have a bit of everything on my plate, and it's part of why I love what I do. No day is the same for me.
Nourishing careers, what it means to work in Canada's food system. If you'd like more information, log on to our website, canadasfoodsystem.ca. This has been a Spark Advocacy production for the Canada's Food System Initiative.